Good morning, yogis. Namaste. I'm Vanessa. We're going to get going with some yoga this wonderful Saturday morning. And yeah, hopefully you're doing all right. Let's come to a comfortable seat. I'm going to move back a little so you can see what I'm doing. And if you have any requests, if you're joining and you have any requests, you can type it in the chat as far as your body's going. But we've been doing a lot of grounding work and opening the hips and the shoulders. So we'll probably continue to do the same thing here. So if you always sit with one leg on top, I encourage you to alternate the legs. That way, both of the hips. The idea is that the hips stay above the knees here. And you could even prop yourself up on a little pillow or a rolled blanket. So I'm leaning a little forward and walking the sit bones back. Just bring the shoulders up by the ears. Give yourself some circles. Maybe one way, and then take the circles in the opposite direction. And then just bring your shoulders over your hips. Allow the palms to be down on the side body. Lengthen through the crown of the head. And then begin to soften your eyes, closing them. Letting the skin hang around your musculature like a sheet. And just start to tune into the rhythm of your breath. Inhaling fully, exhaling fully. All the way out through your body. All the way to the fingertips and all the way to the toes. And as you begin to scan your body with breath, just becoming aware of any places that might get stuck or a little sticky there. Not judging, you're just coming into awareness. Maybe even try to send your breath into those areas that might feel a little stuck. Sweeping the body with breath. There also might be some places that feel really light and easy to breathe in, and there might be some places that are just neutral. You're just observing. But as you breathe into the body and then you come into the mind, just acknowledge where you're at today. And then just like you would be watching clouds go by in the sky without any attachment, just start to watch your thoughts in your mind with the same idea. So we're not getting attached to any of those stories. If the mind begins to wander off, we just bring the attention back to the breath and back to the body, back to the present moment. Let's bring the palms together in front of the heart, letting the thumbs and the pinkies press evenly against one another, and let the thumbs rest into the heart center, but the heart center rises back to meet the thumbs. And in the small little place of your palms, maybe you want to set an intention for your practice. That can just be to be present, but it could also be for compassion, for gratitude. Just letting it be one word, so that way when the mind wanders off, you can anchor yourself back with your word and back with your breath. So whatever that is for you, just hold it in your mind and your heart for one moment. We'll inhale together fully. And then as you exhale, just follow the mind to the heart, sealing the intention. Release the palms, bring the head up slowly, open the eyes brightly. Good morning, everyone. Let's take our arms out and up. We're going to interlace the palms, pressing outward and then curling in. So chin to chest, belly button back to spine. Whew. Pressing out on the inhale. Exhaling, curling in. Inhale. And exhaling. And exhaling. This time as we inhale, we're going to take a twist. So we're going to inhale, come up, and as we exhale, twist over to your left. So right hand comes to your left knee. I'm rolling the shoulders back. And what I'm using with these fingertips is tenting up to roll that back shoulder up, find the length in the spine. And then as I exhale, instead of cranking with the arms, I'm actually drawing the belly button back towards the spine. We're going to keep the twist here, but I'm going to take my gaze forward to that opposite knee. So I'm breathing into the side of my neck, which is called the scalene here. One more breath. And then as we release the twist, I'm just taking that top hand over to my opposite knee, and then we'll curl in, getting into the shoulder blades. Release. Inhale, arms out and up. As we exhale now, twisting to the opposite side, using those fingertips on the back side to roll that top shoulder back, or the back shoulder, and then lengthen through the crown of the head. Same thing here. So I'll show you what that looks like from the side, actually. You see how I'm tenting here, and I'm not like hanging into the joint or leaning back. Just kind of using that to roll, belly button draws back for the twist. Now keep the twist. We'll just take the gaze to the opposite knee, breathing into the side of the neck here. Then as we release the twist, opposite hand comes to opposite knee. Whew, curl in. And then release. Bring your hands back to your knees. We'll start by opening the hips. Now we're doing some Sufi rolls as we inhale across the front, exhaling across the back. And you can go as fast or as slow as you like. And if you find a nice little spot where it might to be a little tight and you want to breathe there, you go ahead and do so. Then we'll take the circles in the opposite direction. So still inhaling across the front, exhaling across the back. And then release. Mm-hmm. So either with your hands on your knees or sometimes bringing the hands towards the ankle, we'll do seated cat-cow. Just opening up the chest here. Inhaling, nose up towards the ceiling, but without crunching the back of the neck. Exhale, chin to chest, belly button to spine. All right, bring it forward. Now we'll come into a tabletop position. So hands will be underneath directly underneath your shoulders, knees hip distance apart, underneath the hips. If you want, you could be on tops of your feet, or you can tuck your toes under if you need to stretch. And then we'll come into cat-cow, but we're going to come into cat-cow into child's pose. So we're linking the postures, and this is called Chakravarkasana. So I'm trying not to lock out the elbows. Inhale, drop the belly, tailbones goes up towards the ceiling. As we exhale, cat pose, and then maybe sinking it back, child's pose. Moving to the rhythm of your breath. And then the next time we come back in the child's pose, we'll stay there. Maybe bringing the palms alongside the heels, forehead touches the earth. Now, if you keep your feet together, or your knees together rather, you'll breathe more into the low back, but you can also take the knees wide and breathe into the hips if you choose. Maybe massage your temples from side to side if you have any allergy stuff going on in your sinuses. Gonna come up. We're gonna come up to standing on the knees if that's all right with everyone's knees here. And I'm gonna take my left leg out. So the toes are pointing outward. I'm kind of at a external rotation in the hips here. and my knee is directly underneath my hip. If this is okay, you can always pad underneath the knee also. We're just going to kind of get into the hip by leaning into the greener groin, but not pressing any weight directly on the knee because we want to protect the knee. And then from here, I'm going to extend the leg out, maybe the toes face forward, or sometimes people like to actually be on the heel, coming into gate pose. So I'll leave that up to you, all right? So inhaling, we'll take the right arm up. As we exhale, we crescent over. You'll notice no pressure directly on the knee. And I'm trying not to collapse on this left side. So if I was going to lift the heel, it would look like such. And you could even grab the toes if you wanted to here. Come back to center. And now I'm just going to plant the hand and take it in the opposite direction. Oof. You can kind of curl and get into that shoulder girdle. And then rotate yourself back into this direction, hands and knees. Rinse the spine, inhaling. Cow pose, exhaling. Cat pose, maybe child's pose if you choose. And we'll come back. This is standing on the knees, hip distance apart. This time taking the right knee out. You'll see, but my knee is tracking over my ankle here. And then just kind of leaning in. Opening that growing. And then we'll set up for our gate pose on this side. So whatever variation you took on that first side, so maybe the toes are and your foot is more parallel to that short end of your mat, or you could be up on the heel. Same thing, I'm keeping a micro bend in the extended leg, so I'm not locking it out here. As we inhale, left arm up, and exhale, crescenting over, no pressure on the knee. Let your next inhale bring you back up as we plant that hand to the opposite side. Maybe make a little circle. But you here getting into your shoulder girdle. And this time we rotate back to our hands and knees. Inhaling cow pose. Exhaling cat pose to child's pose. Do that 2 more times, moving to the rhythm of your breath. And then from here, we're going to slide out onto our bellies and come into a little cobra pose. So feet hip distance apart or a little bit wider if you need to for your, make space for your low back. We don't want to compress in the low back here. So the more I root into my pubic bone and the more I root into my 10 toes, you see here, very active. So now there's no collapsing and this feels pretty strong in the low back. Now, for baby cobra, we bring our palms a little out. You'll notice here, it's not the elbows drawing back or drawing out like chicken wings, but more drawing in here. Lengthen through the crown of the head, pelvis stays on the earth. Feel yourself supported as you inhale here. Find the length in your crown of your head. Make sure you have plenty of space between the shoulders and the ears. Exhale, look over your right shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale over the left shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, take it down. Now you can do that once again with the baby cobra, or if you want to come to more traditional cobra, hands will come alongside body, fingertips pointing towards the front. I'm rolling back. You'll see me squeezing my elbows back towards one another. That same idea. This becomes the scaffolding for the spine. We don't get as much height as a traditional Bhujangasana. cobra pose. But as we inhale, now the crown of the head is kind of going more towards out versus up towards the ceiling. But if I took my hands off my mat, you'll see I'm actually really working the back body here. Pubic bone is still rooted in. Exhale, maybe forehead or one cheek to the earth. You're going to do that 2 more times. Just kind of feeling yourself out in your first cobra, baby cobra, your choice. We'll press it back. Back into our tabletop position. We're going to go ahead and we'll move through a little bit of flow, but we're not really gonna, since we're doing grounding stuff today, we're not really gonna get off the earth. I hope that makes you happy. So we're gonna inhale. Let's take our left foot up and back. As we exhale, that left foot's gonna come forward. You're coming into a lunge. I'm gonna bring that left hand to the outside here, low lunge. Now, if you need to pad your knee, but I'm not actually on the knee, I'm on the very top of the tibia here. Roll the shoulders back, send the heart forward. Relax the jaw. Now let's give yourself some space. So maybe even that right hand comes off the mat. Left hand comes to the thigh, not on the knee, but you'll notice I'm not locking out that standing arm. And maybe lifting and taking a twist here. If you want to make some circles with this left arm to get into that shoulder girdle here, you might as well. We did it on the other side just to open it up. Exhale, as you release, your hand's going to come to the inside. We're coming into lizard pose. You can come down to your forearms if you're already ready for that. People are usually not as open in the morning. But if you're trying to get more into the hip, I'll show you what that looks like from the front. So I'm drawing that shin in towards my forearm, or I'm coming to the knife edge of that foot. That's what I mean by that. That just gets more to inner groin versus hip. Okay, yogi's choice. Breathe, relax the jaw. Maybe even sticking your tongue out like a lizard. And then as we ease out, come back into our tabletop position. If you want to release that hip by making some circles there, that's up to you. You can rinse your spine by a little cat-cow action. And then we'll come to the other side. Extending and bringing that opposite foot in. Low lunge. Taking the hips forward, relaxing the jaw. And then give yourself some space on the left side. So left hand comes maybe off the mat without locking out that elbow. Right hand can come to the thigh to roll that right shoulder back. Sink the hips forward still, and then whoop, twist. Maybe making circles with this arm to get into the girdle, your shoulder. And then as we exhale, hand to inside and taking your variation of your lizard or iguana pose here. So maybe come to the knife edge of that foot to get into inner groin, or you drawing that right shin in towards your right forearm. Now think about this as you roll the heart forward, softening the elbows, softening the jaw, the skin, sinking the hips. Yeah. One more breath. As we ease out, come back to tabletop position. Maybe make some circles with this here. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Maybe take it back, child's pose. Come back into our tabletop position. If you need to drink some water, by all means, drink a little bit of water. So we're going to get into our tea. I love the tabletop position because we keep it a neutral spine. And the difference here, so my knees are hip distance apart. I'm going to raise My right foot, like fire hydrant style, right? All right, here. I'm gonna do these little kicks, the fire hydrant kicks. So here we are, internal rotation when I kick like such, external rotation. That's one, all right? I'm gonna do 5. That's 2. This really helps for hip mobility. 3. 4. Last one. Other side. 1 for 5. Last one. All right. Inhale. So inhale that left foot up and back again. As we exhale, we'll bring it back into our low lunge. This time you can keep your hands down, or if you want to raise up, here you can. And with the back knee down, I think we may have discussed this before in an earlier class. You have a little leeway of the knee, the front knee tracking over the ankle a little here. If my back knee was lifted, I would really want to keep this left knee directly over the ankle to protect the knee. We don't want to put any undue pressure there or unnecessary pressure. Left hand on top of thigh, lift your right arm up, exhale, crescent over to left, but continue to sink the hips forward. Inhale to center. Now we're going to take it back into Ardha Hanumanasana. So my hips stay over my knees. I'm flexing that extended leg. You could even lock that heel out a little bit. And I'm keeping a micro bend in the extended leg. Exhale, fold. Now, Ardha Hanumanasana is half splits. And while we're here, we're keeping the hips square, and that is for internal rotation. What I mean is that the thighs are moving inward versus turning out. Yeah. Take one more breath. We're going to walk it forward. I'm going to bring my hands to the inside now. We're coming back to that lizard pose. If you're feeling a little more open now and you want to try to come down to your forearms, by all means, you can do so. You can always put a blanket or a pillow or a book or block in order to raise the ground. Up to you if that's your goal. Coming out to the knife edge of the foot if you're getting to inner rowing, but send that heart forward instead of puffing up in the shoulders. Relax the jaw. And he'll bring it up. We're going to walk that left foot over towards our right wrist. We're coming into pigeon pose here. If this type of pigeon doesn't work for you, you can always take this on the back. It'll look like a cross-legged figure four, excuse my language. Okay? Still got that retrograde shape, shadow, right? Squaring the hips forward. The more parallel that your front shin is to the front shoulder of that mat, the more intense of a hip opener it will be. You can fold forward at any time. If you want, you can bring that little prayer hands into that little crease between your nose and your forehead here. And take any pressure off of your sinuses for the next couple of breaths. And I'll bring it up. Lean over to the left, taking this back leg and wrapping it around. So this is what it looks like from the front. Your right foot can come to the inside or to the outside here. So you'll see me hugging that shin, and I'm really rooting down into this front toe pad. This is what's helping me find the length here. Exhale, twisting to the right. So that same idea of the twist of using the tentate up of the fingertips to roll the shoulder back. Exhale, squeezing the belly button back towards the spine. And if you want, you can bring your elbow to the outside of your knee, but it doesn't have to. So let the head be the last thing that happens, that comes into placement. Now keep the twist, gaze forward at that front toe, and we'll release. Release your feet. And so we'll come into a reverse tabletop. My feet are hip distance apart. I'll show you what this looks like from the side. Some people like to have their fingers pointing directly towards their feet, but if you need more space in your shoulders, then you can turn your hands out slightly. I'm going to take that variation today, feeling a little tight in the shoulders. So feet hip distance apart as I inhale, lifting the hips and the pelvis. Maybe my chin stays tucked, especially if I have any neck stuff going on. But if it feels good, you can always take your gaze and head back. One more breath. Try to parallel the feet. And then exhale. Go ahead and hug behind your knees if it's okay for your back. We're going to take a few spinal rolls. Coming into Navasana if you want. Catch yourself on your sit bones. And this last one, we'll cross at the ankles. Come through. So you can either take it down and do a few cobras, or if you want, you can just do some cat-cow to rinse the spine. Inhaling cow pose, exhaling cat pose. Maybe child's pose if you want to throw in the mix. And now my right foot will come up and back as I exhale. Right foot comes forward. We'll come into that low lunge on this side, setting yourself up so hands can stay down, or we come up to standing. Sinking the hips forward. Our right palm will come to the top of my right thigh. I'm going to lift my left arm alongside my ear as I exhale, sinking the hips forward and crescenting over to the right. Whew. Might be different on one side, so just be aware. Let your inhale come up as we exhale. Ardha Hanumanasana. So my hips stay over my knee, flexing that extended right leg and a micro bending. And into a rotation. Take one more breath, and then we'll start to move ourselves forward. We're coming into our lizard or iguana pose with that hand to the inside. So same thing on this side. So maybe you're taking your variation of being on the knife edge of the foot, or drawing the shin towards the forearm, or maybe coming down to your forearms here. Sink the heart forward, relax the jaw. When we bring it up, we'll walk that right foot over to the left wrist, coming into our pigeon on this opposite side. So setting yourself up and then folding forward any amount. And as we bring ourselves up, we'll rock onto that right hip. Now bringing the left foot around, especially what that looks like from the front. And the same thing on this side, maybe the foot comes to the inside or to the outside of that crossed leg. I like to hug the shin and define length, and my sit bones are both on the earth, so I have a nice foundation for this posture. Rooting into that front toe pad will help, and then lengthen as you exhale. Take the twist. Maybe that elbow comes to the other side of the knee. We'll keep the twist, but take the gaze forward to your front toe, breathing into your scaling. And then as we release, You can take that reverse tabletop again, or you can do full reverse plank, your choice. Release. Hug behind the knees. Give yourself a few spinal rocks, catching yourself in Navasana. Boat pose. And we'll cross up the ankles. Your choice of going through, maybe taking a little cobra or just cat cow. All right. So we're gonna move through that one more round, a little quickly, a little quicker, and then we will start to cool down the body. So inhale, the left foot up and back. As we exhale, the left foot comes forward. Coming into our high lunge. Inhale, the right arm alongside the ear. Exhale, crescent over, sink the hips forward. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, fold, Ardha Hanumanasana. Inhale, bring it forward, iguana pose or lizard pose. Inhale, bring it up, walk that foot over to your right wrist, pigeon pose. Inhale, bring it up, rock yourself over to that left side or right foot comes across. Inhale, find the length. Exhale, we'll take the twist. We'll keep the twist, but this time taking the gaze forward, stretching our scalene. And then we'll release. We're going to change this up a little bit so right knee can come directly on top of the left knee into cow face pose. So you can be here, you can fold forward, or if you want, you can bend at that right elbow. And try not to crunch in here. So I like to press my skull back into my forearm. If you want, you can try to take the bind. I'm not able to touch, so I'm just kind of holding onto my shirt here, but I like to have nice space. And then if you want, and you have the bind, you can take it forward if you choose. Inhale. Bring it up, release, release your hands. Same thing that we did before. So either full plank, reverse plank, or reverse tabletop. Plant the hands, lift the hips. Next, I'll take it down, hugging behind the knees, 3 spinal rolls into Navasana boat pose. And then we'll cross up the ankle. Moving through either your cobra or cat cow. Now we'll inhale the right foot up and back as we exhale, bringing that forward, coming into our low lunge on this side. Right palm on top of thigh, left arm alongside your ear. Inhale here, exhale, sink the hips forward, crescent over to the right. Inhale, exhale, fold forward. Bring it back. Here we are, Ardha Hanumanasana. We'll walk it up. Iguana pose. Coming back up. Walk that right foot over towards our left wrist. We'll come into our pigeon on this side. And bring it all the way up. We'll rock onto our right hip. Bring that left foot around. Setting ourselves up with good foundation on the inhale. And then exhale, we'll take the twist to the left. Keep the twist, take your gaze forward. And as we release, now we'll take that left knee on top of the right. I forgot to mention that if this doesn't work for anyone, you could also just do this on the back and hug the knees in. So same thing here, just folding forward, or now maybe bending at the left elbow, drawing the skull back towards that form, maybe taking the bind here. One side might be more tight than the other, and that really kind of is like your dominant hand. You're wearing a purse or a backpack on one side. Try to like even it out. Because over, like even the side that you carry your groceries on and stuff like that, like it has a, try to change it up to make it a little more balanced. We'll bring it up and we'll come into reverse tabletop. Lowering on the exhale, hugging behind the knees, our last 3 navasanas. Catching ourselves on our sit bones and using our abs. And crossing at the ankles. Coming through to cat-cow or cobra. I'm going to take a cobra this time all the way down to the belly for 3. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. After that last one, I'm just going to make a pillow at the front of my mat and wiggle my hips. Observe how it feels with my belly on the earth. I'm going to extend my left arm out at shoulder height if I know, so it will look like this on the opposite side. If I know I have tight shoulders, I may need to lower this palm closer to my hip. It's going to be on the other side. We've done this one time before. So I'm rocking onto that left side. My temple is on the earth and this top foot is behind my knee, but my leg is in alignment with my hip. You can use this fingertips in front, your right fingertips, to give yourself some overpressure. Relax the jaw. Then we'll come back to the belly and we'll take it to the other side. I'm going to flip over so that way I'm not have my back to you. So now my right arm is at right shoulder height. I rock onto my right side. My right temple is on the earth. My left foot is behind my right knee. And I'm using this left fingertips for overpressure. Come back to the belly. Press it back. Child's pose. In child's pose, we're going to just come ourselves through. Hopefully you'll be in the middle of your mat. And we'll start to rock down onto the back. Hug the knees into the belly. Rock gently from side to side on the low back. Let your palms come on your knees and your fingertips point toward the toes. We'll come into Apanasana. As I inhale here, the arms straighten, the knees come away from you. Exhale, knees into the belly. Next time the knees come out at a 90-degree angle, you can stay there. Let the arms come out to a T, palms up. Exhale, drop the knees over. The stacked knees will be better for the low back. You can also put a block in between the knees. That helps keep the hips square. Maybe the gaze goes towards that right thumb or the opposite thumb of where your knees are. So your knees are going one way, your gaze is going to the other. I have this top hand here just to give myself a little overpressure. Your choice. Inhale to center. Exhale. Other side. Back to center. Hug the knees into the belly. So we're going to move to our last few postures here. And so if you have a shoulder stand practice, I invite you to take your shoulder stand now. If you just want to take the legs in the air, modified shoulder stand, you can bring a block underneath your sacrum or just place your palms here underneath the sacrum. You can point and flex your toes or roll the ankles. If you're in shoulder stand and you like to take halasana, the plow pose, you can do that here. Then from plow pose, you can release, and we'll all meet. We're going to come into a modified fish pose. So my palms underneath my sacrum. If I was in shoulder stand, I would just go ahead and start to lower myself slowly, unfurl using my abs. Once the heels touch down, I'm bringing my elbows and forearms along this side body. I'm pressing into them, pointing the toes, lifting the heart and the chest. It's almost like I'm bringing pressure to the crown of my head, but there actually is no pressure there. This opens the throat and the heart. And your mouth might purse like a little fish. Exhale, release. Bring the knees into the belly. Rock gently from side to side. Soles of the feet together, knees wide. Now think about if your tailbone is kind of curled up, roll the shoulders away, unfurl the tail slightly as you bring the, so the feet are pressing towards one another. And I'm pressing my knees, I'm butterflying them out just slightly. That helps unfurl the tail. So I'm trying to maintain the tail to the earth and to the crown of the head as I open the feet up. Happy baby. I find this just feels a little more grounding and really good and supported on my low back. So you don't have to do it that way, but it's always nice to change it up a little or try something new.
Now, if there's any last posture your body was craving to do, I invite you to do so. If you do anything asymmetrical, like twisting, then you'll just come back and do like a happy baby or an apanasana. Otherwise, as you're ready, you'll begin to unfurl out into your final relaxation posture of Shavasana. Now, if Shavasana, being prone on the back, is no good for you, you can always have your feet as wide as your mat and your knees together like such. This allows this low back to be supported. You could also take the soles of the feet together and the knees wide here, maybe placing a blanket or pillows underneath your thighs so that you're feeling the support. You're also more than welcome to come into a seated meditation. So wherever you are, if you're unfurling out into Shavasana, go ahead and take a nice big breath. As you exhale, let it go. Coming into seated meditation, just soften the skin around your musculature. Close the eyes. Think about everything that's coming into contact with the earth. And as you exhale, let it go into deeper relaxation. So softening behind the eyeballs and the eyelids. Softening any tension you may have in your jaw, so maybe even swallowing here. I'm thinking about releasing the neck and the throat all the way out to the shoulders, all the way out to the elbows, all the way out to the wrists, to the palms, to the fingertips. Settling into the support of the earth. Releasing your upper, mid, and low back into the earth. Releasing your hips and your pelvis and your sacrum. Releasing your glutes, backs of your thighs, and your knees, your calves, ankles, feet, and toes. Settling into the support of the earth. Settling into deeper relaxation with each exhalation. Slowly bring your attention back to your breath, back to your body. Inhaling fully, exhaling fully, all the way out to your fingers, and all the way out to your toes. beginning to wiggle your fingertips, maybe wiggling the toes. Maybe making some small movements or circles with the wrist and the ankles, just stirring the body slowly awake. You can take your arms long and overhead, maybe even clasping and pressing the palms outward. Take a nice long body stretch and letting it go with a big sigh. That felt pretty good. Let's do that again. Inhaling. Long body stretch. And let it go. And just start to bring your knees into your belly. Give yourself a hug. This is especially if you're on your back. Rock gently from side to side. As you give yourself a hug for all the work you did today. Then rock over to one side. Just make a little pillow with that bottom arm. Coming back to the present moment. And as you're ready, you will use the strength of your arms to press yourself up into a cross-legged seated position. Let your palms come down onto your thighs. Close the eyes. Just observe the mind and the body and the breath for a moment. Come back to your intention. Notice if anything shifted for you today. In the mind, in the body, in the breath. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. And come back to that word, your intention, whatever that is for you today, to give thanks for it. Let's give thanks for our bodies for all the work that they did today. And I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to honor yourself and your practice, especially on Central Standard Time, especially at 8:30 on a Saturday. That is showing up for yourself, and that's half the battle. The light and the dark in me sees and acknowledges the light and the dark with you. So thank you for allowing me to share my practice with you. Namaste. Yogis, thank you so much for joining me. Let me move up closer to you.
Finished a little early, which is actually on time, so I can tell you about the announcements that we have at Bounty and Soul. I have one more class to teach with you, and it has been quite a pleasure. They also do I think there's a gentle yoga, I believe, on Tuesdays, or it could be the Zumba, but it's on our bountyandsoul.org website. I want to give a big shout out to Burning Stage Yoga for linking me up here to be able to share my practice with you. And if you have any questions, you can always, I'll put my little email in the chat, and you are more than welcome to shoot me an email if you have any questions or requests as well for our last time together. But until then, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your Saturday, whatever you do, because now you hopefully are getting grounded enough so that you can go out onto your Saturday and stay pretty grounded amongst the chaos of the world. So until next time, yogis, I'll see you then. Have a great day.